What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm finishing Cobra Kai, Season 6, Episode 10, the Part B. It's taken me a while to get here, but, I've been reviewing other shows in and around everything, and I spread out the Cobra Kai episodes. Nobody's going to watch this, I get this. I'm just doing this for self-gratification at this point. Show has audio description. I'm not even going to try to waste your time because this is fairly after the drop. I spread out the episodes. It was a 5 episode drop, and I love Cobra Kai, and I didn't want to rush it. So we finally got to episode 10 for me, and I should have seen this coming, by the way, because there was at the end of episode 9 there was a whole thing about Miyagi, and the tournament resulted in death. So they open up on that, and of course, Daniel's getting it validated by the guy that is running Sekai Taikai, and he finds out that it's true, and that sometimes back in the day things ended, and the tournament was different. It was a different time. It was a different time, Daniel. Haven't you heard that? It was a different time. So, I think the trailer, by the way, just dropped for Karate Kid for the movie. Anyway, check that out. I saw a little alert that let me know that had just dropped for the Karate Kid movie that's coming out next summer. Which I hope includes at least somebody from the show other than Ralph Macchio. Cool. I'm glad he's teaming up with Jackie Chan, but can we not abandon this entire cast? He does have an established daughter now. Can she at least go along? Can Anthony? Can one of them? Can his wife? Can somebody from this film please go along with him in this movie? So, yeah, this thing devolves into madness really quickly. So it looks like they lean into Kreese has this knife, right, that he pulled out at the end of last episode. He's going to murder his way into the finals. Well, I totally misunderstood what happened when teams were getting eliminated. I guess there were other teams in the finals anyway. So there's 2 other random teams. And what ends up happening before Kreese can murder Silver, which is actually what he's about to do, I don't know how that would get his team in the finals. I really don't. I don't know what Kreese's plan is. I would have loved to see his version and just be like, well, the guy that was sponsoring this other team died, but their captain and fighters are still here, so I guess we'll move on. The other team had already lost the tournament, so this really changes nothing. There's a nice little thing where Tori, Robbie's trying to talk to Tori, and they're trying to have a heart to heart, and Quan just comes in with all the energy and anger. He's such a douchebag. Robbie is very apologetic because he realizes he was played by Quan, and he's trying to apologize to Tori, and Tori's just like, I don't know about anything right now. And good that they didn't reconnect, although it would have made it even more interesting if they had, because I guess one of the other dojos is doping. So before Kreese can murder Silver, and before Tori and Robbie can get back together, the other dojo gets disqualified because they tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Of course they did. So some random dojo is kicked out, and the next highest qualifying dojo, of course, is Cobra Kai. So they take the spot. So they're back into the final 4. It's a final 4, not a final 2. I thought it was going to be a final 2 between Silvers and Miyagi-Do. So they're back in, and for some reason, they call back, and they're like, all the other eliminated dojos. I'm like, why are the other eliminated dojos still here? I don't understand that, but so good thing. So Cobra Kai can be brought back in. Although we start the fights, and I don't even know where they're going to pick up with after this, because we see uh, Quan has to fight the other guy who's Diego, and he beats Diego, so he wins his fight. Remember, it's the leaders of the dojos. They said this at the beginning. So Quan beats Diego. Duh. Did anybody think the fourth dojo was going to win a fight? Like, no. Every time I saw somebody paired against the other dojo, I was like, well, that person won. Um, and then the other one who got the easy victory was the girl from Silver's. I know she has a name. The girl from Silver's, the Nine Dragons, whatever it is. She easily won hers against the random dojo. Um, so Quan and her both advance without having to fight any of our main cast members. So at least there's somebody from Cobra Kai and somebody from Nine Dragons. And then we're shown, we're saved the big fight. The Tori versus Samantha fight doesn't happen because we are in the middle of the Robbie versus the guy from Nine Dragons fight, when it gets a little too personal, and it starts into a fight which goes absolutely bonkers and has to be one of the most expertly choreographed fight sequences ever on television. I mean, you have everyone in the entire cast at Sekai Taikai is suddenly in a fight, a giant brawl, including teachers. Like the adult cast, the kid cast, females, males, series leads, random characters, the new characters introduced this season. Everyone is fighting, and they're all fighting different people. The audio description on this episode was tremendous. Tremendous to try to follow all of this. I was like, Jesus. And it goes on forever. And it's funny because they cut back and forth, and like Daniel's family is watching at home on the TV, and they're like watching like this all go, and they're like, oh, why does it always, and it also flashed to some of the other members of Miyagi-Do, and they're like, oh, we should have gotten to go. Soda been down for this, So it flashed in some other characters, but Devin is still there, so she got to fight, because she hasn't been flown home. She's still hanging out, so she's part of the fight. Her and Kenny do a lot of fighting together, which was cool to see the two of them duking it out. Otherwise, there's a lot of other people just fighting, and it just, I don't even know. Everybody connects in this. It just seems like there's so many people who fight. And Miguel obviously is, he knows that the dragon guy tried to kiss Samantha, so he's mad at him. But eventually, the dragon guy ends up fighting Quan, which I'm not even going to go through all the fighting. The biggest fighting things that you need to know is that Kreese eventually goes after Silver, but then he realizes once again, and he tries to use the knife, but his knife is missing. And Silver's like, what's wrong? You lose something? Like, he always knew that Kreese had a knife. But the funny thing is, it's not like Silver then pulls out the knife himself. Like, that would have been interesting to me. It's just, like, it's on the fucking floor while everybody's fighting. So, basically, he just dropped that shit. And so Silver acts very like he's ahead of it. He's like, oh, yeah, I knew. Where's your knife now? I had somebody bump you, so it fell from it. Like, come on now. So they fight. The two oldest cast members have a karate match, and it looks like Silver's about to kill Kreese when Johnny steps in and saves Kreese's life, and he's like, I think I owe you one, or something like that. He has some line because Kreese is like, why, and Johnny's like, I think I owe you one. So he stops Silver from killing Kreese. But meanwhile, where's the knife? Oh, it's on the floor. And of course, the unhinged member of Cobra Kai, who is told to strike first, strike hard. Cobra Kai never die. He finds the knife. which immediately made me concerned for everyone else. And I loved that they turned this on its head. So he gets into fighting the I can't think of his name, the Dragon King, Silver's male team leader. Are the two of them are really going at it, and Daniel sees the knife and he's trying to get to it because he's like he knows that there's a problem, and but Quan doesn't use the knife immediately. He doesn't like immediately just like stab. They draw out the sequence so long that while fighting, somehow Quan manages to get knocked backwards onto the knife, so then it's like sticking out of his chest. So Quan dies, and everybody just stops, and that's where we leave it. Is with the shocking, once again somebody died at Sekai Taikai, and it was Quan. So good riddance. I don't know. I'm not gonna miss him. I'm glad it wasn't, because he literally could have been. I was thinking, oh my god, this knife, because I didn't think it was gonna be Quan, and I wasn't 100% sure it was gonna be the Nine Dragons person. I was like, I mean, they could just fucking kill Kenny, or like, or Dimitri or something like that, like, and then everybody stops, and I mean, what an emotional moment, by the way. I like, if it had been like Dimitri, and then like Hawk's there, and he's like, look, and he runs over, and like, Dimitri's got this bright future ahead of him, and it's all like, I mean, that would have been crazy. Like, there's so many narratively stronger people to kill off than Quan. Quan is like, we wanted to kill somebody off that the audience wouldn't care about, so we killed off Quan. And there was also like a pep talk. I think it was it Hawk or was it Dimitri? Somebody was giving Johnny the pep talk. I forget now. About the work that he put into, because he was feeling down on himself, and it was a good scene too. And he's like, did who took a bunch of nerds and turned them into fighters? And it's like, well, yeah, Johnny did that, actually. I mean, Daniel took Robbie, who was not a nerd and really could handle himself, and just kind of made him find center focus. But Johnny was the one who took, Miguel, Hawk, Dimitri, I mean, like a whole bunch of like non-fighters, and turned them into badass karate people. That was what Johnny did. So, as Cobra Kai is looking at its final part to the season, I think it's really important to reflect on that. Is while the teachings of Miyagi-Do are definitely the ones that we're supposed to take away from this, who was the one that actually helped the kids that needed help? It was actually Johnny. So, interesting perspective on that one. So that he started helping those kids find their way first. So, yeah. And now they're all badasses. So Quan's dead. I don't care. Robbie made a clear choice. He's like, and I love, he kicks that girl in the face too, and he's like, it's not even close. He jumps in to help Tori, and kicks off the other girl that he ended up sleeping with. And she's like, you're choosing her over me? And he's like, it's not even close. I'm like, yes, get up in there. So there's some good moments in the fight, but man, that fight is, Jesus, that was a fight. So that's it. I'm going to give Cobra Kai season 6 episode 10 an A, because my God, why not? Just that fight choreography alone. I was impressed. I was like, geez, this is a lot happening. And the audio description on it, like trying to follow who's punching who, and who's flipping over who, and who's jumping into this fight, and who's crossed into this fight. It's a cluster. I'm sure it looks insane. But kudos to the stunt coordinator on that, because that, I'm sure, was a bitch to shoot. But yeah, to have all those people fighting at once. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.